Well, good morning, ladies. Happy to be here this morning. Our topic for discussion is 3 ways to release stored trauma in your body. And before we get going, I've got 10 days in a wake up before I head to Texas. So I'm excited to be here with you guys. And we're in the final countdown. This week, my goal is to pack up my office and get that all going and have a temporary office for the first month that I'm landed in Texas. So yeah. And I was having a good conversation with another fellow group member here about how often many of us get involved with other high conflict antagonistic people, and how that replicates in families, how that replicates with friendships, how that replicates with work situations, and also with romantic partners. So drop in the comments if that's something you're really concerned about, is being in another toxic relationship or having that dynamic happen again in a romantic partnership. So yeah, we had a really good connecting conversation about that dynamic and how, there's a lot of love bombing and just having the red flags and how your body sees them, but they don't really see them. So yeah, so drop that in the comments if that's something that you're concerned about, being in another toxic relationship. So a reminder just before we begin our talk today is that be your own true love. And that means, loving yourself, like having self-compassion and loving yourself and connecting with yourself, learning and developing new life skills, being assertive, setting boundaries, communicating, knowing how to escalate communication, and also how to set consequences. Those are all really important life skills when we're navigating life with other people and in relationship with others. And then, of course, taking care of yourself, learning how to take good self-care of you, like how to take care of your mind, how to take care of your body, and how to take care of your spirit. So be your own true love. When we are being our own true love, we are walking and vibing in different energy that is very grounding and supportive of who we are and aligned with our own values. And when we're walking fully in all of our power, when we're loving ourselves, that really gives us different vibes and a different attitude, and we walk different, we walk prouder and just more aligned with who we are, and it attracts in a different inner circle. It attracts different people to us. So that's really the benefit of being your own true love, is loving yourself so that you can get to where you want to be in life. So yeah, so be your own true love. That's the important thing. So today's topic is, I'm going to go without any notes today because my house is just really, really a disaster zone. So we still have kitty cat's got a little den going on over here where all his babies are. And that's his little safe space. But yeah, I've got about 90% of my place set up. So yeah, I'm going without a safety net. I'm going live without any notes with all of this. So one of the things that happens when we've been in and under so much stress is that there is trauma that happens within our tissues. There are issues within our tissues. And that can really manifest in a lot of ways. That can manifest in like a lot of tension in different parts of our body. That could be having tension in your stomach area where you're holding and gripping. That can also be in the top part of your shoulder blades. It could also be in your neck, where you really clench down. And we all have holding patterns and guarding patterns in our bodies. And so those things, if we do them day in and day out, then we're going to start having other ailments that happen within our body. And, for instance, for me, mine all really started with a martial arts injury, and I was doing Krav Maga which was really good, badass cardio. And I really needed it when I was going through my divorce. But in one of the classes, I tweaked between my shoulder blades, and then that kind of went down into my shoulder, and then I had frozen shoulder for about 2 years. And it's only recently that I've been able to get full mobility back into that shoulder. But frozen shoulder really impacts a lot of women, and a lot of women with autoimmune diseases. And I also think it just is because us women, we have a lot more stress and we carry it in our body. And so, yeah, that's, for me, it really manifested in frozen shoulder and neck issues. And so, but it also could be like gastrointestinal, when we're holding in our belly area and we're just really clamping down, that could end up in constipation or diarrhea or other leaky gut or some other different ailments that are all based on your digestive system. Or it could be your lower body, that you've got a lot of a lot of emotions get stored in our hips. And that's not something, when we do other things in life, we don't really stretch out our hips. So in our glutes, in our butt, and also in our hips, we have a lot of stored energetics, a lot of stored emotions. And if you've ever done yoga and you get into some pigeon pose or doing anything for your glutes or your hips, that can be a very emotional time and emotional release for women when they're in class. And that's why it's so important to go to a trauma-informed yoga studio, where when you may be experiencing these emotional releases, that you've got somebody there who knows how to help you and who can help you navigate that emotional release. And to be honest, I think that's really important for any place that you go, even martial arts. That was something that I talked to the martial arts folks about, being trauma informed, because I think there are a lot of women, hi Elisa, that gravitate towards martial arts for self-defense. And yet a lot of times they're run by men who aren't really trauma informed. And I know for me, when I was going to Krav Maga, and also I got into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, there were some different moves for me that kind of caused a little bit of a fight or flight. Like when I was on my back and somebody was, in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you're having control over another person, and then they control you. And there's a whole way that you control, like if it's too much, you can tell your partner that. But I had to work through a little fight or flight little situation that was going on within a few moves when I was in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And so, I think that is really important, that wherever you're going to go, to ask about trauma-informed practices. And, whether that's martial arts or a yoga studio or any other fitness place that you go to, that's very important, because you just never know when you're working on healing from divorce, separation, or narcissistic abuse, where those releases may occur. And, another place would be like Pilates, where you're really getting into your body and connecting with different parts that you may not have had a connection with. And that may lead to emotional releases that occur. And that can be being very angry. That can be crying. That can be sobbing. That could be like this incredible sense of grief. And it also could be joy. I mean, there's so many different, we all feel emotions in different ways, and emotions get stuck in different parts of our body. So, we talked about, 3 main areas that I see with women in the gym that have stored trauma in different parts of their body. So it can be the neck area, it can be shoulder and upper cervical spine, and it also can be in your hips. And so there are three ways that I'm going to talk about today, is for ways in which you can deal with that stored trauma. And the first one involves breath work. And that would be, if you've got really severe pain, or, even sometimes for me, I may have gotten, and it wasn't a heart attack, it just was some really deep emotions like in my heart, and it would be like on my right side of my heart. So if you think about the body, the right side is all masculine energy and the left side is feminine energy. So a lot of times I would get these weird emotional strings that would go through my heart. And when I would realize what that was, I just would have to breathe into it. So what you do is, if you're realizing that, whatever part, and let's just say, for right now, it is part of your heart that's realizing that emotional heaviness or a tinge, and it's not heart attack related, it's energetics, that you can just breathe into that. And it's just taking a breath through your nose, and you're going to send it into that area of the heart. And you're really just going to breathe in through your nose and then just push that energy, that breath, like really imagine it going into your heart, and then letting that energy then go out through your feet, out the soles of your feet into the ground. And then you just continue to take in air, take in another breath, and imagine it coming from the top part of your head, like from the heaven, coming in through your body, and just let that release through your heart and then come back through. And you can do that for any part of your body. If you have pain that's in your neck or in your stomach or wherever you're having that emotional sensation, you can go ahead and push air right directly through that particular body part. And that can be very effective. So just taking that in from your crown chakra, taking that in from the heaven, taking in that divine energy and bringing that all the way through your body, through that affected area, and then pushing that energy and that breath out through your feet. That's a really effective way. So that's the first one. Another one involves you can have one of these. These are my favorite balls. These are lacrosse balls. And I couldn't find my tennis balls, but typically I start off with tennis balls. And tennis balls, if you have a dog, go borrow a ball from your dog. You could have a play event and then make sure that you get the ball at the end. But a tennis ball is very soft. And, when we have muscles, this is a muscle that you have that, it's all tensioned up. It's like your fist. And when you have another item, you can have a ball, or they call it myofascial release. Then you can push in this ball or a roller ball or a tennis ball or a golf ball or whatever. I don't recommend golf balls right to start off the bat, but let's talk about the tennis ball. But when you push in on that muscle and you do that for a minute to a minute and a half, and the most you want to do that for is 90 seconds, but your muscle's going to eventually release under tension, and it'll release away from that tension that you have in your body. So having a tool like a tennis ball, that's like, $2 to go have a tennis ball. Go get a pack of 3. You can give them to your other friends. And I'll show you other tips and tricks in another video about how I use those together in a sock. So you can go to different parts of your body. And, I'll just show you here, standing up, if you've got... moving furniture right now. So a big thing here, you've got this ball up against a wall here. And, if your shoulder's causing issues or whatever, you can go ahead and push in on whatever muscle that is. And just, you can count for 90 seconds or whatever, and you're going to feel your muscle release. And that's really a big thing that you can do to help yourself, like on a day-to-day basis, it's called myofascial release. And that's what they do in massage. That's the big thing. When you go to a massage therapist, they're actually doing the same myofascial release in a certain pattern or whatever in your body to release the tension. So you can take those same massage techniques that you get from your massage therapist, you can do that for yourself with a tennis ball. And there are other different types of stretching and different types of fitness equipment that I will show over the next few videos. And actually, I have a lot of that stuff packed up, so I won't be able to show you until I get to Texas. But when I get my stuff, I'll be able to show you more techniques for all of that. There's different shapes, but start out with a tennis ball. That's one of the big things that you can do, is start out with a tennis ball and try that out. And you can put it, one of the big things is you can do that on a wall for the middle of your shoulders. Like, that is the number one spot that most women have tension, is right there in between their shoulder blades and in the middle of their back. That's like one of the biggest things for that. And the last way that I'm going to talk about is really investing in yourself to have a massage therapist, have a certified a massage therapist, that's within your price point. And though that would be a really good relationship to have, and to have like really good self-care for yourself, is to have a massage. You pick the duration of it. And for me, I went every 2 weeks. And every 2 weeks, to be able to, work through, especially if you've been in a long-term marriage and it's now ending, or you've been in a long-term relationship, or you've done a lot of healing. That is something that can be very beneficial to you, is to have a relationship with a body worker and someone who has a lot of skills. Like, you will want to go and, find somebody who does, you don't necessarily need a sports massage, but someone who has the capability to do regular massage. There's like a really good Bowen is another great tension releaser that's great for the nervous system. Like, Bowen work is incredible. There's Rolfing is another one. Oh yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome that you made yourself a priority to have some self-care, Lisa. That's awesome. And, there's just some things that you can't do for yourself, that having that relationship with other body workers can be very very therapeutic and essential to your healing, to releasing some of this stored trauma, especially around the glutes and your hamstrings and other parts, like the middle of your back too, to be able to get at your spinal cord and some of your neurovascular system that ties into your back and your other parts of your body. So that's, the top 3 things that I talked about today was breath work. One of them was breath work, to be able to take breath in from divine, from the heavens through your body, and then bringing that into whatever affected area, and then pushing that out through the bottom of your feet into the earth. That is a really great breathing technique. The second one is, again, the myofascial release. That's with a tennis ball. And for me, I do like the lacrosse ball, but having something that's softer. So you're just going to go ahead and you're going to push that in on whatever area. You can use a wall. Sometimes you can lay on the ground with whatever that is, or on the floor. And have some fun time with your dog. That can be really fun, to have some playtime with your dog, and also get some good some emotional release and tension release with having myofascial release with a tennis ball against the wall, or whatever you're going to do. And then the third one is making time for yourself with a massage therapist and any body worker. And that's just an incredible relationship that really can help you move forward in your healing, to release that stored trauma, and to have their expertise. They know movement patterns. Like, I've had a 5-year relationship with a massage provider, and she's been essential to my healing team. And she is very skilled in what she does. So not only does she do massage, she also does Reiki. She also does pranic healing. She also does Bowen work. She also has neurovascular release. And again, I would highly recommend looking for a trauma-informed massage therapist as well. And most of them they're in this line of work, and they are very skilled and very adept at working with people who are working through trauma therapy or after an accident or in healing, we all have trauma in us. And so having a make sure it's a licensed massage therapist and someone who is clearly trauma informed can really help you move forward. And that's really a commitment to your self-care, for you to have that relationship with yourself, to be taken care of and to be pampered. And I really see self-care as being essential. It is not a luxury item when you're healing after divorce or separation or narcissistic abuse. That was like an essential part of my healing protocol for me moving forward after my long-term abusive marriage. So yeah, we talked about stored trauma today, emotional trauma, and 3 ways that you can move through that on your own. And if you have any questions or if you have any comments, feel free to drop those below. I'm happy to have new videos or anything that you're interested in. Again, I do want to have a video on Louise Hay. She's a very amazing woman who did a lot of research, and she's written a book around what the different ailments are for stored trauma. And, you know, there's different things around, you know, having frozen shoulder really goes back into not speaking your truth. And that really was indicative of me. But I will take the top 10 ailments that women that I work with, and I'll go ahead and do a video on that as far as the emotional trauma that's stuck in the body and how that manifests. So that would be an interesting video. So stay tuned for that. And I hope you ladies all have a wonderful day. And if you have any questions, drop those in the comments. Happy to help out in any way that I can to be a resource. And yeah, I hope you have a really great day and take care. Bye-bye.